The cinemas are busy at night time. Seems to be a little impromptu concert going on over there. There's a restaurant bar there with a limousine inside. Seems to be a game of volleyball or something going on here on Revolution Square. I just saw the first group of young revellers of the night going into the Irish pub there, and there's quite a few cars in the car park as well, so it seems that might be a popular place. It seems my favourite chain of canteens are actually open 24/7, so I guess that's always a good option as well. This appears to be quite a lively street, so let's go investigate down here, shall we? It seems this street is restaurants. I mean, they're kind of like bars as well, bar restaurants as well. So there aren't that many people out walking in the streets, but there's plenty of people driving or being driven, and I think that's because as a model Soviet city, it's very spread out. It's not compact at all. This is another piece of interesting Soviet architecture that we haven't covered. Seems these days there's a bar here, lounge, dance, karaoke even. I got chatting to a Brazilian guy the other day in the street, and he recommended a pub called the Metro Pub, which is just here. So that could be worth a go. So here at Metro Pub, it seems you can smile, eat, laugh, talk, dance and drink. So lots going on in there then. But straight away I noticed there's blacked out windows, so maybe it's more of a club than a pub. Wow, whew. Good to come out in the fresh air again. That was actually a really cool place. If you've got realistic expectations, you could actually have a very good night out in Bishkek.